So this is Kielder Forest. It is just down the road from Newcastleton. So I did Newcastleton this morning and I've stopped off at Kielder this afternoon. I'm just going to ride the Blue Osprey Trail today. Another narrow, quite overgrown trail. What is it with these really narrow blues up in this part of the country? Well, so far this trail's just meandering through the woods. Quite nice. No major views or anything yet. It's quite rocky and narrow in places, a little bit slippy, a bit wet from the rain we've had recently. Well, so far I've done an awful lot of riding on fire roads and forest roads and only a tiny bit of single track. So let's hope there's a bit more single track coming up. I've had enough of riding fire roads today, I think. Right, we've done 6 miles of a 12-point-something mile trail and I'm just about to hit the second bit of single track through this puddle. It's been non-stop forest road and fire road up until this point. So I had a look on the map when I stopped a bit earlier and it would appear that there's not a lot of single track on this blue trail. I managed to work out what all the little dots meant, and it is mostly fire road and forest road, I think. So that's a shame. Hopefully we'll have some nice views at some point, and it's drizzling a bit, so hopefully that will stop as well. That is quite steep and loose, much steeper than it looks on camera, I think. And it's quite loose, it's got very slippy, wet, kind of loose rocks and shingles and bits off the trees all over it. Oh wow. Nice view of the lake over there. I'll have to stop here. Yeah, look at that. That's a nice view. A better view actually than I got in the Lake District of the lakes, funnily enough. Right, having stopped to look at that lovely view, which you can still see in front of me there. I am now continuing on my travels. Oh, is that the end of the single track? Well, that wasn't very long, was it? Do you know what? This is quite techie for a blue. That's quite loose and steep. I'm sure the camera massively flattens that out, and I know I am a numpty, but still, I think this is quite hard for a blue. This is quite a nice section of trail. Quite enjoying this. I'm still on alert for it suddenly turning steep, techie and kind of not blue, but it's quite nice at the moment. according to the map, I think that's it, that's the end of the single track. The rest of this trail now is forest roads and along the edge of the lake, which hopefully will provide some nice views. So what have I thought about the Osprey Trail so far? Well, it was certainly a surprise. There was a lot less single track initially than I expected, but the single track I've ridden I have enjoyed, but also found quite challenging in places, which surprised me because it's a blue, but it's quite a narrow, steep, techie blue in places. I mean, some of it reminds me a bit of riding some of the red trails in Wales, so it's quite a strange sort of trail. I think if you were coming here as a beginner, you might struggle with it, and I wasn't expecting it to be the way it was, so that's why I was a bit surprised. Had I been riding a red trail and ridden it, I'd say, oh, it's, you know, quite good for a red, not particularly techie, but for a blue, I think it is quite techie. So just beware if you come here and ride the blue. It's quite narrow, quite steep, and quite techie in places, and there's a lot of fire road. Anyway, let's see what the return is like, and hopefully we'll get some nice views.